Okay, class, hello. This is going to be your tests. And we've got, let me give you some proper names. You have Mr. Kemper. You have Toyota and Lincoln. Okay, and so you got to make it a little bigger. Is it there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh.
This one.
Yeah.
And then
Ready,
bigger.
next one over.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and these are going to be your tests. And so you have 160, number 1, Mr. Kemper, Toyota, and Lincoln for 5 minutes, you all. Mr. Kemper, how fast were you going when you saw the other car?
I was going about 15 miles an hour.
What happened then?
The next thing I felt was the impact, and I was knocked almost unconscious.
You were driving a Toyota?
Yes,
Was it a 4-door or a 2-door model?
it was a 2-door.
Is that car equipped with seatbelts?
I don't really remember.
Do you remember whether you were wearing a seatbelt?
Yes, I always fasten the seatbelt.
So you were wearing a seatbelt. Is that right?
That's right.
You don't remember what time this accident occurred, do you?
No,
Were you in any particular hurry to get to this other place where you had to go?
no, sir.
Did you hear a screeching of tires or honking of horns before the impact?
No, sir.
Did you attempt any evasive action before the impact?
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
I tried to speed up and get out of the way.
How did you do that? By putting your foot on the accelerator?
Yes, sir.
And were you able to accelerate?
I would assume I accelerated, but it happened so quickly.
Now, what part of your car and what part of the other car came in contact with each other?
The right front side of the Lincoln hit my left front end just above the door.
Do you mean just in front of the door?
It just demolished the whole front end.
Where did your car end up after the impact?
In that particular spot, it just stopped completely.
What happened to the Lincoln? Was it against your car when it came to a stop?
Yes, it was. It was against my car.
Were you knocked unconscious?
I was in a daze. I was knocked out of my seat and over the passenger side.
What was the position of your body after the impact? You said you were knocked over. Is that right?
I was knocked all the way over to the passenger side of the car on the floor area.
You were on the floor?
Yes,
Where were your legs? Were they on the floor?
I would assume they were up in the air.
Where was your head? Was it on the seat or on the floor?
My head hit some object. You can't recall the details when you are being hit, you know?
Was your seatbelt still on when you were in this position?
Yes, it was still on. They are very flexible, you know. I was knocked over.
And you say your head hit something.
Yes, it did.
Do you know what it hit?
I would assume the console. I really don't know.
Your car had a floor shift?
It had a console, a floor shift.
How many impacts were there? One or more than one?
One impact.
What did you do after the impact?
I opened the passenger side of the car and sat there until I could get myself together because I was in a daze. I just sat there.
You got out of the car?
I put my feet on the ground.
You opened the passenger door?
Yes, I sat there until I could get myself together. I was a nightmare.
How long did you sit there?
Until the police came.
Did you talk with the other driver at any time?
No.
Did the other driver remain at the scene?
Yes, he did.
When the police came, what happened?
They took me to the hospital.
Did they talk to you about the accident before they took you to the hospital?
No, sir.
Did they take you in a squad car?
No, they took me in a paddy wagon.
How did you get into the paddy wagon? Were you carried on a stretcher?
No, I was assisted by the police.
Were you in any pain at that time?
Yes, I was.
What was bothering you?
My head, my neck, my back, and my arm.
Was your head bothering you?
It was hurting.
What part of it was hurting?
Well, when you have a headache, you don't know which part of it is hurting.
You had a headache.
My head was hurting. My head banged against something.
What part of your head hurt?
I don't know.
Was it your forehead or the back of your head?
All I know is my head was hurting.
What kind of a pain was it?
That's a difficult question for me to answer.
You can't answer it?
You have to be hit on the side of the head in order to understand it.
All right. Were you bleeding?
There was blood coming from my right hand.
Was your head bleeding?
No.
You also said your back was bothering you. Okay. And then we'll go on to your second 160. You have Mrs. Pat Fisher, Mr. Benjamin, Mr. Kemper, and Dr. Berger. This is 160. It continues. You all Q&A number 2 for 5 minutes. What part of your back was bothering you?
The upper part.
Like in between your shoulder blades in your neck area?
Yes, sir.
Was it a sharp pain?
It gets pains now.
I didn't ask you that. I asked if it was a sharp pain you felt at that time.
It wasn't a sharp pain. It was very sore. You have to be hit in order to understand what I am trying to say.
Could you turn your head from one side to the other?
My neck wasn't broken.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you if you could turn your head from one side to the other.
Yes, I could.
Did it hurt you when you did it?
I don't remember.
All right. Now, you also said that your arm was bothering you. Which arm?
The right arm.
What part of your arm?
The entire arm.
You also said your hand was bleeding. Is that right?
Yes, there was a cut on my hand.
Could you move your arm?
Yes, sir.
And did any part of your arm hurt you more than any other part?
The whole arm hurt. It was swollen.
Were you wearing a jacket at that time?
I was wearing a suit and tie just like I am wearing now.
Did the police administer any first aid at the scene?
No.
Did you ever at any time talk to the driver of the other car?
No.
You never spoke a word to him?
No.
Did you ever see him again?
No.
Was a police report made of this accident at the hospital?
Yes, it was.
Now, when you got to the hospital, were you treated?
Yes, I was.
Was that in the emergency room?
Yes, sir.
What was done for you?
They x-rayed me.
What parts of your body were x-rayed?
My arm, my neck, the whole area was x-rayed.
Were you given any medication?
I was given a prescription to get filled.
Did you stay at the hospital overnight because of your injuries?
No, I didn't.
Did the hospital do anything else for you?
No.
Was your neck put in a collar or brace of any kind?
Not at the hospital, but my doctor did.
Were any bandages applied to your body at the hospital?
No, sir.
Were any casts applied?
No, sir.
Did you talk about the accident at the hospital with the police?
No, sir.
Do you know the name of the investigating officer?
No.
How many policemen investigated this accident?
There were 2 that took me to the hospital.
When the police took you to the hospital, did they just leave or did they stay with you for some time?
They left me.
Do you know of any witnesses to this accident?
There are some, but I don't have their names because my car was knocked into the path of another car, and there was still another car that had some damage done to it.
Does a Mrs. Pat Fisher ring a bell to you?
Yes.
All right, who is she?
She owned the car that was involved in the accident.
She owned the car?
Yes.
How about the driver of the car in front of you, the person that was going with you? Did that person come back to the accident scene?
Yes, he came back. He stopped his car and he came back.
Did he stay until the police came?
He stayed there and he talked to one of the policemen.
How long were you at the hospital before you left?
About 2 or 3 hours.
Where did you go from there?
I went home.
How did you get home?
By cab, if I recall correctly.
What did you do when you got home?
I went to bed.
What day of the week was this?
I think it was Wednesday.
Did you go to work the next day?
No, sir. I called Mr. Benjamin and told him I would not be able to come in.
Mr. Kemper, when did you go to the doctor?
I went the next day or the day after that.
What doctor did you see?
I saw Dr. Berger.
This was the first doctor you saw. Is that correct?
Yes.
Had you ever gone to Dr. Berger before?
No.
Did you have a family doctor at the time?
No.
Why did you go to Dr. Berger?
My sister recommended him.
Do you know what kind of doctor he is? Does he have a specialty?
I would assume he is a medical doctor. I really don't know.
What were your complaints when you saw Dr. Berger?
My arm was very swollen.
Which arm was that?
My right arm, my neck and back were hurting too.
How did you get to the doctor?
I was.
Okay, you all. And so we'll get ready for your 160s. Very good tests. And we'll get ready for your 160s. And then you have, right, just in case if it's somebody, on your 140 Q&A number 1, Dr. Berger, and it continues, you all, Maywood Hospital, Maywood Medical Center. Okay, so it continues from the last 2 tests. This will be 140 Q&A, number 2, or number 1 for 5 minutes. Do you remember who drove you there?
My sister drove me because she recommended Dr. Berger to me.
What did Dr. Berger do for you?
He examined me and gave me a prescription. He also put my arm in a sling and a collar around my neck.
He put your arm in a sling?
Yes, sir.
Did he do anything else for you except put your arm in a sling and put your neck in a collar?
Well, he examined me and gave me a prescription to be filled.
What kind of medication was this? Do you know?
No, I don't. He also gave me an injection while I was there.
Did he tell you when to return for the next visit?
Yes,
Did you return?
I did.
Do you know how many times you saw Dr. Berger?
I don't remember.
Can you give me some kind of estimate?
No, I can't.
Was it a dozen or 100?
This accident occurred 5 years ago. I really don't remember, but the record should show the dates.
Your attorney has those records, does he?
Yes, sir.
And did you see any other doctors besides Dr. Berger?
Yes. I went to Maywood Hospital and I saw a doctor out there
Why did you go there?
because I needed therapy.
Who told you that?
Dr. Berger did.
And he told you that?
Yes, sir.
When did he tell you that?
It had to be in August because that's when I went out there.
Did Dr. Berger ever discuss your condition with you?
Only in medical terms that I don't know anything about.
Did he ever discuss it in layman's terms so you could understand it?
He only told me what was wrong with the arm in medical terms.
Did he ever say you had a fractured elbow?
No, he didn't.
To your knowledge, did you have a fractured elbow?
All I know is that my arm was badly swollen and I couldn't use it.
Did any doctor tell you that you had a fractured elbow?
I don't know. He used some kind of medical term that I didn't understand. He didn't say that I had a broken bone.
Did Dr. Berger say that you had an injury to your spine?
He never did discuss the case with me.
Did anybody ever tell you that you had something wrong with your spine?
No, but my back still bothers me.
Did you have an abrasion on your knee?
Yes, I did. My knee must have hit something.
Do you have a scar?
No, I don't think I have a scar there.
Did the abrasion on your knee clear up?
Eventually, it did.
Are you having any further problems with your knee?
No, just my arm. My arm hurts whenever it starts raining.
How many times did you go to the Maywood Medical Center?
I went there twice.
What did they do for you there?
They scheduled me for therapy, but I had no way to get out there.
Did you ever have any therapy?
Just on my own. I exercised my arm myself at home.
Did anyone show you what exercises you were supposed to do?
No.
What kind of weights did you lift?
What kind of weights?
Yes. How heavy?
I don't know. They might have been 15 or 20 pounds. I started off by using a rubber ball. Then I went to weights. Then I did push-ups in order to exercise the arm because I did not have transportation to Maywood.
Can you use your arm now?
Yes, I can.
How long did your arm bother you after the accident?
It still bothers me.
How does it bother you?
Whenever it rains, I get aches and pains all up and down the arm.
How long was it before you regained full use of your arm?
About 3 or 4 weeks.
This was after the accident?
No,
Well, when was this?
after I started taking therapy.
How long did your head bother you after the accident?
Well, I had headaches and I still have headaches. I never had headaches before in my life.
You've never had a headache before in your life?
No.
Okay, and so we've got your second 140 you all. You have Dr. Berger, Maywood, and Mr. Kemper. And this will be 140. It continues from the last one, okay? 140 number 2 for 5 minutes Q&A. How often were you getting headaches right after the accident?
Immediately after the accident, I had a headache almost every day. Then, as time went by, I didn't get them so often.
You say you got a headache every day. Is that right?
Immediately after the accident, yes, sir.
How long did that continue?
I don't know exactly in terms of time.
Was it weeks or months or what?
I still have headaches occasionally.
Well, I'm talking about regular headaches.
During the time Dr. Berger was treating me, I had regular headaches.
This was every day?
No, sir, I didn't say that. I had headaches off and on.
How often were you having them?
I can't tell you that after all this time. The accident was 5 years ago, but I did have headaches regularly immediately after the accident.
Is it your testimony that you have had headaches ever since the accident?
Ever since the accident, I have had headaches from time to time.
How often do you get them from time to time now?
Well, you see, I don't keep a record of my headaches.
When was the last time you had a headache?
I had a headache about a week ago.
How long did it last?
It lasted about a couple of hours.
Do you remember when you had one before that?
No, I don't.
How about your back? Did your back get better?
My back is bothering me right now, sir.
All right. After the accident, your back was bothering you between the shoulder blades. Is that correct?
It still bothers me.
How often was it bothering you immediately after the accident?
Will you repeat the question?
Right after the accident, was your back bothering you continuously?
Yes, it was.
And you say your back still bothers you. Is that correct?
Yes, it does.
Is it as bad as it was at the time of the accident?
It only bothers me now when it rains. Then I get these aches and pains in my back and in my arms.
When you went to Maywood, did they treat your back?
They just gave me an examination and told me to come back for therapy.
Is it fair to say that your back bothers you when the weather is bad?
Yes, sir, it is.
Is this every day when the weather is bad or just occasionally?
I'm not saying that every time it rains, my back bothers me, but there are certain times when I get these aches and pains.
How about your neck? Is it the same?
Well, my neck and my back are bothering me right now.
But it's a sunny day.
I know, but my neck and back have been bothering me for some time now.
Let me ask you again, Mr. Kemper, how was your health before the accident?
Fine.
Were you ever in a car accident before this one?
No,
Have you been in a car accident since that time?
no,
So this is the only car accident you have ever been in. Is that correct?
this is the only car accident I have ever been injured in.
Were you ever injured in any way before or after this accident?
Before or after?
Yes, before or after.
I was badly burned on my left leg when I was about 3 years old.
Did you ever injure any part of your body before or after this accident?
No, sir.
Mr. Kemper, were you ever convicted of a felony?
No, sir. Why would you ask me that?
Was your driver's license ever suspended or revoked?
No, sir.
I take it you had a valid driver's license at the time of the accident. Is that right?
Yes, I had a valid driver's license at the time, and I have one now, too.
Did you have to pay for the repairs to your car?
No, sir, I didn't.
Well, Mr. Kemper, if you didn't pay, who did?
Well, actually, I assumed the insurance paid because I told them that I wasn't going to.
How much did those repairs come out to?
I don't know. All I know is that the repairs were done and that I can use the.
Okay, you all. So that concludes your tests. Good luck. They were all very good. Good luck. You know, we never did.
It should stay there, okay? I
Oh,
mean, it's
yeah.
not like anybody sits at that table.
No, and